All right, so take a look at our last section for the week. Okay, not on word problems, it's just on graphing. Okay, so one thing we want to make sure we remember how to do is graph equation of a line. And anytime you graph the equation of a line, it needs to be in this form. Okay, y equals mx plus b. I think most of the problems today already have y by itself, but if you ever had a problem like this, that's not ready to graph. You'd have to move this -2 to the other side. Okay? That would be your first step. Again, I think today that step is already done for you. Okay? The only difference you're going to see today is instead of having an equal sign, where we would normally have it next to y, you're going to have a greater than sign. Okay, you want to fill that in. Okay, what are the other inequalities you could have besides greater than? There's 3 other ones. It's greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. You're going to see one of those 4 symbols in that spot right there. Okay, you won't see an equal sign today. But we still want it in the same pattern. Y by itself, okay, number with x, number at the end without x. Okay, and the reason why nothing needs to be changed if the inequality looks like this is the key right here. Y is by itself. If y is by itself, there's nothing you need to change. Okay, now we're going to look at a few examples where y is not by itself, just so you can see one that you might have to do something to first. Okay, look at that one below where it says stuff needs to be changed if the inequality looks like this. Okay, is y by itself in this inequality right here with the arrow next to it? What's next to y that shouldn't be there? -5. Okay. Anybody tell me how you would move -5 times y to the other side? Divide everything by what? Yep, divide everything by -5. Okay. So if y has a number attached to it, you divide everything by that number. Okay. So I divide by -5, divide by -5, divide by -5. Okay, and I don't think we wrote it on here, but does anybody remember what happens when you have an inequality and you divide both sides by a negative? The sign flips. Okay, so that's still a rule we have to remember. If you ever divide both sides by a negative, flip the sign. Okay, but we did that way back at the beginning. All right, let's look at this one. Is y by itself in that inequality? What do you think? How about Justin? Is y by itself there? No. In fact, there's a couple things that's wrong with it. Not only is there a number with y, but the x is also on the wrong side. So there's 2 things wrong with this one. All right. So to fix this one, the first thing you'd have to do is move 2x to the other side. Okay? Anybody tell me, how would you move positive 2x to the other side? Oh, Ben? How would you move that positive 2x to the other side? 2x. Yeah. So the first thing you'd have to do is use the opposite operation. Opposite of addition is subtraction. You'd move the 2x to the other side, and then it would look like this. Let's see. You'd have just a 4y. You would have minus 2x. Okay, that would go to the other side. And a plus 6. Okay, if you were going to graph this one, that's the first step. Take the 2x, subtract it, it goes on the other side. And then what other number is still next to y that I don't want there in this inequality? The 4. And how would I get the 4 on the other side? Divide it. It's just what we did in the last step. Now I divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4. I'm not going to finish that, but that's how you'd get y by itself. Okay, and the last type of thing you might have to do to rearrange it is if we have y on the wrong side. Okay, we don't want y on the right. We want y on the left. Right? Anybody tell me how you would move negative y back to the other side? Yep.
Could you subtract the 9 from both sides?
Well, the 9 is okay where it is, but we want the y on the other side.
But what if you just get the y by itself on the right side and then flip the whole problem back?
You could get y by itself on the right and then flip it. This one, I'm not going to explain that way because I just don't want to confuse anyone, but if you can do it that way, that's okay. Yep, that will work. But for this one, anybody tell me how I would move negative y back to the other side?
You'd add y.
Yeah, I would just add y. I would add y, and that would give me y plus 3x is greater than 9. Now I've got the y on the side I want, but what else is with the y that now I want to put on the other side? The 3x. So I would subtract that and subtract that. Now I've got y by itself. Y would be greater than negative 3x plus 9. Somebody remind me, what's the number in front of x again? That's your what? Slope. And the number at the end without an x? Y-intercept. Okay. Perfect. All right, now we're going to look at the graphing part. Okay, did anybody remember the two types of lines you can draw here? It depends on what symbol you have, but the line is one of two types. Dotted or solid. Did anybody remember what kind of line you use for a less than? That's a dotted. Yep. So less than is dotted, and think less is down, right? Down is below. Okay, so I'll shade below. How about less than or equal to? That's a solid line, but it's still less than. It's still down, so we still shade below. Okay, what kind of line would we use for a greater than? Dotted, but now we're greater than, so we're going to shade not below, above. So think greater. Greater is up, right? Up above. And greater than or equal to? Greater is still above, but what kind of line would greater than or equal to be?
Solid.
Solid. Right, so I'll just put that in. Solid. Right, and last thing we need to know about graphing is there's two special cases. Okay, these are your special cases. Either you have just a y by itself with no x. Okay, so y greater than 3. Anytime you have a y only, that's a horizontal line. Now, if you have a horizontal line, does shading to the left, does shading above or below make sense? Like, in that case, do I have a part that's above that line and a part that's below? Yeah, with a horizontal line, that's fine. You're going to see something a little different with vertical. But with horizontal, you have above and you have below. So this works just like you would expect. This one's a little different. If you just have an x by itself, we're going to draw a vertical line. Okay? Vertical line, what number would we put a vertical line at in this case? It would be a vertical line at -5. Now, if you draw a vertical line, do you have an above and a below? No, you really have a left and a right. You don't have above and below. All right, so this is the case I just have to write down for less, let's try this, less than or less than or equal to, shade left.
So go in the direction of the.
Yeah, it's basically with a vertical line, you just go the direction of the symbols. I can't say shade below because below doesn't make sense when it's vertical. Greater than or equal to, shade, which way are we going to shade for that?
Right.
We're going to shade right. All right, so this chart, the special cases and regular cases, basically tells you what kind of line to draw, and it tells you where to shade. Right? That's the most important thing for today. Okay, does everyone have the chart? Okay, this part you already had on your notes, right? All the typed stuff. You just have to add those two things. Okay. All right, so there's 3 steps, okay, to graph what we're doing, and it's called graphing a linear system. Okay, step 1. Make sure both of the inequalities have y by themselves. Okay, how do you do that? That's what we just went over right here. Get y by itself. So that's step 1. Step 2, you're going to graph both. Remember, they're not inequations today because equations have equal sign. What are the things we're graphing called? Inequalities. Graph both inequalities using the charts we just went through. Figure out if it's a solid line, a dotted line. Figure out if you should shade above or shade below. Except in the case where it's vertical, it's either left or right. Okay, and the last step, the answer that we're looking for is where these inequalities overlap. Right, so I'll show you kind of a quick example. Let's say we had one line like this, and we ended up shading above. And we had another line like this, and we shaded below. The answer is where the shadings overlap. So in this case, the answer would be, if I do it in a different color, this is where both the black and the red shadings overlap. Okay, I might do it with a highlighter, so it's easier to see. Okay, so that's the whole goal. We just have to figure out where the 2 shadings overlap. If they don't overlap, then there's no solution. Okay, but I think all the ones that we do today are going to overlap. Okay, and with the highlighter, if I can, Ben, can you click on the highlighter for me? I'll click that part. Just use the mouse. Yeah. Can you reach the mouse, Ben? Thanks. All right. And now just click on the pen button right below.
Oh my God. I'm not gonna be able to see it. This one?
Yep. And then we'll click there, and then click on highlighter. Perfect, thank you. So if I do like an aqua and I do pink, that's good because you can see the overlap. Okay, I think that'll work better maybe than me coloring it. Thank you. All right. Does everyone have the 3 steps? Anyone else still need the steps? All right. All right, so here's our first inequality. Okay, let's look at the steps as we do it. Step 1, make sure they have y by themselves. Is y by itself? Yeah. Okay, so step 1 we don't even need to do. Step 2, graph both inequalities. Okay, let me make it bigger so we can see it. Let's start with the top one. Okay, anybody tell me how to graph this? Don't worry if it's a solid line or a dotted line yet. Just tell me, where should I put a point to start? Yeah, put a point 3. And where do I put it? 3 units down, 3 units left? Up. Yep. I'm going to go up 3. We'll put a dot. And then what's my slope? 2. And I could make it, if I want, 2 over 1. Yeah, we can make it 2 over 1. So from this dot, who can tell me where I go next? Up 2 and right 1. Okay, remember, your slope is rise over run. Okay, so rise is 2, right 1. Okay, can I do it again if I want? Yeah, we could do it a couple times. Just do it a few times so you get enough points. And now, should I do a solid line or a dotted line? Why dotted? Who can tell me why this one is dotted? Right. If you have a greater than, okay, which is what we have this time, there's no line under it, that's always dotted. Greater than, dotted. Okay? So, just draw it the best you can, dotted. Okay, so put it in, adjust that a little bit. Okay, there's my first line. Now, after I draw my line, I have to decide, should I shade above it or should I shade below it? This is a greater than. Above. Okay, so I'm going to shade above. Let's see if my highlighter is working. Yep, seems good. Okay, so I'm going to shade everything above. Okay, any question on that? Okay, now that's not my answer. I'm going to graph one more line, and hopefully I'm going to see an overlap. Okay? And what I'll do if it's confusing is I'll circle the answer so you can see it on your paper. All right, Ryan, can you tell me my first step to graphing this second line?
You go up 4.
Yep, we're going to go up 4, and we're going to put a dot there. All right, and now, Justin, what's my slope of this one? What number is in front of x?
1.
Be careful, -1. And if you want, we can always put it over 1. So now, from where Ryan just told us to put a dot, I have -1 over 1. What direction do I go from this dot? Down how many? 1. And then which way? To the right one. Perfect. Okay. do it a couple times just to get our point. And now, Kevin, is this a solid line or is this a dotted line?
Done.
Yep, it's dotted again because it's a less than. Let's put in my dotted line. I think it's pretty good. And now who can tell me for a less than, where do I shade? Shade below. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my highlighter. See if I can change the color. And now I'm going to shade below. Everything below this line. Okay. So shading everything below. All right, so now the answer is the overlap. Okay, where do they overlap? I guess look at it as an X shape. The top, the bottom, the left, or the right. Yeah, they overlap on the left part. So on your paper, if you don't have different colors, it's kind of confusing. Circle the part where they overlap. All right, so I'm just going to circle. Let's see if I can take this and, yeah, that'll be fine. Oop, don't move it. Let me use a color that's a little different. I'm going to use, I think yellow might show up. Maybe not. It's green. Just circle that part. Okay, that's the answer. Okay, so your answer is a picture. It's that whole area where they overlap. Right? So it's not the top, it's not the bottom, it's not the right, it's the overlap. And that's it. Okay. Any question on that? Okay, so on the test, you might have a couple that are multiple choice, but on ones where you don't, okay, I'd like you to just circle what part of the X the answer is in, and just draw an arrow and say, here's my answer, this section right here. Okay? Another way to do it is if you had a pen and a pencil, you could maybe see it as two different colors, but just circle it like that. Okay, questions on that? Okay, let's try example 1B. Okay, it says y is greater than x minus 1, and 3x plus 2y is less than 6. Anybody tell me what's a little different here? Something we're going to have to do, at least on part of it, we didn't have to do last time.
You have the X on the wrong side.
Yeah, we've got the x on the wrong side in this problem. Okay, so I'm going to move it over here so I can fix it. Kevin, can you tell me how do I move that x to the other side?
Subtracting it.
Yep, I'm going to subtract it. So now on the left-hand side, all I've got is 2y. Who can tell me how I write what's on the right-hand side? Keep in mind, like y equals mx plus b. You want it in that order. Yep, negative 3x comes first, plus 6. All right, is that the format I wanted in to graph?
No.
Nope, it's better, but it's not perfect.
You have to divide everything by
I got to divide everything by 2. Good. Now I'll rewrite it. Y is less than, does 2 divide into 3?
No.
Nope, so just leave it. Negative 3 over 2x. Does 2 divide into 6? Yep, and that gives you 3. Okay, so we're going to graph this, and we're going to graph that. Now it's just the same as the last one. Any questions on getting y by itself? Okay, hopefully we don't think this is as bad as word problems. What do we think? Not as bad? Okay, that's a little better. All right, Michaela, can you tell me what my Y-intercept is for the inequality on the left? -1? Yep. So put a dot at -1. And Corey, can you tell me what number is in front of x? And if I want to make it a fraction, I could do what? Over 1. All right, so Corey gave us our slope, 1/1. Alex, can you tell me from the y-intercept, what direction do I go?
For the first,
Yep, for the one on the left.
up one
Up one,
and over to the right one.
over to the right one. Yep. All right, so up one, right one. So should I put it dotted? Should we do dotted line? Let's do a dotted line. Solid or dotted? Yeah, dotted not an option. So which one?
Pretty good option.
It does, yeah. Is this one dotted line or a solid line? Dotted. Okay, how do we know it's dotted? Because what, Ryan?
It's greater.
Yep, that's a greater than. If you don't have the little line under it for equal to, don't make it solid. Okay, what's the last thing I have to decide before I graph my next line? Where do I shade? Okay, so where do I shade? Kevin? So this is a greater than, right?
Oh, okay, I was looking at the other one.
Yeah, the other one we're going to shade below. Yeah, but this one we're going to shade above. Okay? So take your highlighter. Let's see if I can do this. Can I have my assistant click on highlighter for me?
Thanks, Ben.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm blind, my
Shade above. Okay, when you shade, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to shade most of it. Okay, so that's shade above. All right, last step, graph my final line. Maria, what's my y-intercept for this second inequality? 3? And Alexis, can you tell me what I do from that point to get another point on that? Go down 3. And then 2 to the... Which way? To the right. Yep. So down 3, right 2. I'm going to do it one more time. Down 3, right 2. Solid or dotted? Dotted again. Yep. Okay, so we've got a dotted line. Okay, and Kevin already told us which way we're going to shade. He said shade below. Now, if you already see where the overlap is going to be, you could just circle that right now and just write, here's my answer. Okay, if not, do your shading, shade below, and then you'll see where the overlap is. So that's shading below. Okay, so again, if you think of it as an X shape, where's the answer this time? Yep, it's in the left. Now, we did 2 in a row where it happened to be the left. I want you guys to understand it could be anywhere. It could be the left, the top, the right, or the bottom. Okay, your answer can come up in any area. Right, so I'll just circle it. so I can see it, and I'll say, here is my answer. It's that whole area I just circled. Okay, any questions on that one? All right, the next one, I think I'm going to change it because there's one on your test that's not in the notes, so we're going to do one that's similar to what's on the test. All right, so we'll, you can just put a line through those. And this is going to be a special case. Okay, so remember on your notes we had a chart for regular cases and then a chart for special. Okay, we're going to do a special one. Okay, I want you to do x is greater than or equal to 2. And y is less than 3. Okay, the way you can tell these are special is they each only have one letter. Okay, they don't both have x's and y's. Okay, using your reference sheet if you need to. Anybody remember what kind of line do you get when x is by itself?
Obviously vertical.
Yep, look at your special cases. And when it says x only, vertical. Okay, vertical means which way? Left and right or up and down? Up and down. Okay, so this is going to be an up and down line at what number?
We don't even have that.
Yep, we changed it.
Oh my god, okay.
Would 2 be on the x-axis?
Okay, so
Maybe if I was doing my.
what kind of, Logan, what kind of line is it?
The x is a vertical and the y is a horizontal.
So vertical line, and where are we going to put it? At what number? 2. Okay, so make a vertical line. This time it's going to be solid. Okay, so first one we've done, that's solid. Vertical line, put it at 2. There's a vertical line at 2. This is my x-axis. This is my y-axis. Now, which way do I shade? For x is bigger than 2. Where are the numbers that are bigger than 2? To the right. Okay, so shade everything to the right. All right, so we got that. Okay, next one. It says y is less than 3. Okay, y is less than 3. Y by itself. What kind of line is it when you have y by itself? Horizontal. Okay? So this one's going to be a horizontal line. Before I even figure out where, can somebody tell me solid, solid or dotted?
It's a dotted line.
It's a dotted line. So it's horizontal, it's dotted, and what number do I put it at? 3. Yep, we're going to put it at 3. Okay. So I just counted up 1, 2, 3. Okay, now it's a less than. Okay, so do I shade above or below? What did we say? Yep. Think less than. Less than is below. Right? Remember less than? Yeah, less than is below. Okay, so shade everything below. Okay, this time I didn't quite get an X shape. It's more of like a plus sign. Okay, which part of the plus sign is my answer? Upper left, upper right, lower left, or lower right? Yeah, the bottom right. So just circle this area right here. Okay, so I can see it. And then just put an arrow right in the middle, and that is your answer. Okay, if you forget to label it answer, that's okay, but if you circle it so I can see it, that's fine. Okay, any questions on that? You guys good with that one? Ready for one more?
Yeah.
Are these better than word problems?
Yes.
Yes.
I miss you. I don't really mean it, but now I do.
All right, let's try this one. Okay, and then after we finish this one up, we're going to give you guys some time to work on some reference sheet stuff in class. Who can tell me what's wrong with the top inequality?
Y is not by itself.
Y is not by itself.
You have to add
Yep. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to move it so I have a little bit of room to do some work. Zach told me what to do. He said add it. I like it. Now, I got the Y on the other side.
minus 2x.
Perfect. We're going to put that 2x on the other side. So we get Y is greater than negative 2x plus 4. Okay, graph that. Graph that. Do you guys notice anything here about the slopes of these two lines?
They're the same.
They're the same. Okay, so something interesting is going to happen. If they're the same, do they cross? No, so we're not going to get an X shape, or we're not going to get a plus sign shape. Let's see what happens. What's my Y-intercept for the first inequality? Negative 1. From negative 1, who can tell me what direction do I go to graph the next point? Down 2. And then to the right, 1. Okay? I like to just do it a couple times. Just, right, so down 2, right 1. Okay. And you know what? We've done a lot of one type, so I'm just going to add this line under. Okay, it doesn't change much, but I want you guys just add a line under that one. I want it less than or equal to. Because I just added this line, is it solid? I'm having trouble. Is it solid or dotted?
Solid.
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 Or solid.
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 Yeah, we don't want solid.
Solid.
And now, should I shade above it or below it? Yeah. Think less than. Less than is lower, down, below. Okay, so shade everything below. Okay. You don't have to go off your grid. Just shade up to your grid. That's fine. All right, let's see what happens with the next line. What's my y-intercept on this inequality? 4.
Wait, did you have to make that one a dotted line?
Yep, we're going to have to make it a dotted once we graph it. Now, from positive 4, where do I go to graph another point?
Down 2.
Down 2?
Over 1.
Right 1. Down 2? Right 1. Okay, and Logan just told us what kind of line this was supposed to be, which was dotted. Okay. Put your dotted line in. Where's my shading? Above or below? Above. Okay, so shade above. Okay, before I say anything, does anybody have any thoughts about this one? How come there's no solution? Perfect, there's no overlap. Okay, this time we graphed them. One we shaded below, one we shaded above. There's no overlap, so I write no solution. Okay, no solution doesn't happen very often, if at all, on your test. Okay, the ones on the test I think are usually going to be either an X shape or a plus shape, and you're going to have overlap. Okay, any questions on that? Right, so that example was a no solution. All right, so just a few reminders. What's your homework tonight? Homework. 4 questions, and that is a take-home. Okay, when am I collecting it? Tomorrow. When tomorrow? Tuesday. Right at the beginning of class. Due at 7:45. What happens if you don't have it at 7:45?
Zero.
Those 4 questions are a 0. Okay? Okay, tomorrow we will review. Okay, we're going to review 12.10. Okay, you're going to have some questions in class right now. We're going to give you time to work on them. We're going to go over a few of them before the test tomorrow. Okay, your test tomorrow, 5 questions. Okay, 5 questions. 1 word problem. 4 graphing problems.
You guys, like that last one Mr. Hager did, you had to like rearrange, get Y by itself. There's nothing like that. You're not gonna have to do that. Basic.
So you got 4 questions for your take home. 5 questions in class tomorrow, so the whole test is 9 questions. What else is important about tomorrow? In all your classes.
Oh,
Grades close. Okay, so that means tomorrow. Okay, any work you owe me, any tests you need to make up, has to be done by tomorrow to get on your report card. Okay, I'll be after school today if you need to see me. Mr. Roy will be after school. Okay, you can come see me at any point during the day if you have a study. Okay, just make sure anything you want to get done is done by tomorrow.